Hey, welcome back to Battleground Believers. Thank you so much for joining us. Like, share, subscribe. Really helps the channel. We are on all kinds of streaming sites. I know we're on Spotify and I think Amazon Music. There's several places that we are that you can listen to us, so you don't have to just have your YouTube on when you're watching. And it's shareable. You can share this content with other people if you feel like you heard something that affected you or was a good thing to hear. So we've had a lot of fun in the studio over the time that we've been doing this, and want to continue to put out good content and good stories. Again, our tagline is telling his story through your story. And so we bring in normal, common people, everyday guys and girls and people to let them kind of share, hey, this is how I was, this is who I was, I had this encounter with Jesus, and now this is who I am. And so that other people can look and say, hey, I was just like Chuck, and I went through the same things Chuck did, maybe a little different story, but man, I was in that moment. And whether you're going through that moment and you want to know how to get out of it, or you're coming through it, or you haven't even started and you're in a place where you're like, I don't want to be this way anymore. I need something to come in and save my life. We do have we have a email address. Thank you. battlegroundbelievers@gmail.com. We want to be available to you if you need prayers or you want to talk about salvation. Once you communicate with us through that, we can call and text. We're not just going to put our numbers out there because we're wildly popular. We have like 100 million or like 65 viewers or something like that. So, but we do want to make ourselves accessible to you, and we want to make this is more of a ministry, not just a podcast. We don't want to be considered like influencers or celebrities. We want to be considered ministers or
missionaries.
Missionaries. And this is more of a ministry to us and not a way to get rich or anything like that. So again, last week we had Chuck in the studio with us, and he was telling a story, and kind of came to the end, and we're back at it. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
In the beautiful 2 Bars Blue studio. And I learned this week exactly why the S is on bars and not on blues. So anyway, welcome. Thank you so much. Matt Carter, Randy Barr. I always mess this beginning up. Like sometimes I do it really well, and other times I don't. So
you do fine.
Thanks, my brother.
I'll get to you.
Anyway, when we last left, you were talking, and you were growing in your faith, right? And you're really starting to feel that tug, like, hey, there's more, and God wants more from me. But at the same time, the woman that you were in love with and married to was not going that direction. And that started and you were working with the youth, and that started leading to some temptations, or not temptation, leading to aggravation, I would say.
Right.
And turmoil. And so we want to kind of pick up the story from there, and we'll just send it back to you, Chuck.
All right. So as I was saying before, I was getting heavier and heavier into the church, doing a men's group, helping with the youth group. And then I finally started, me and the youth ended up going to Kentucky to a Laurel Missions for a mission trip for a week. And then when we went down there, we did like a Bible study type, I don't know, what is that? What are their, VBS.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought you were talking about.
That's it. Yeah, we're doing our VBS down there. So now, mind you, this is years later, and our 2 kids one of them has already moved out. He's off in the military, in the Army. My daughter is still kind of at home, back and forth, because she's got a boyfriend and moving out. So,
did you adopt them? I didn't mean to interrupt. Did you end up adopting them?
No, I did not.
Okay.
Because their dad just did not want to let go.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what the whole ordeal there was, because I asked a couple different times on that. But
it doesn't change your relationship.
No, it didn't change the relationship at all.
You loved them like your own.
Those are my kids. I love those kids.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to that, well, while I was down in Kentucky, I went down there. I think we went down there like 2 or 3 different times with the youth group. And then one year we ended up going down, a couple of us guys and some of the others from the church said, hey, we ought to get together and do an adult trip down. So we'd take a long weekend. So we'd leave on a Wednesday and then go down and then come back on a Sunday. So a bunch of us would go down, and I tried to get my wife then to go. And it's like, no, I'm not going to go. I'm just going to stay here and work, and you do your thing, I'll do my thing. Okay, that's fine. So I'd take off and go down there and spend the long weekend down there helping the folks down there. Because at this time, they've pretty much shut all the coal mines and all that kind of stuff down there. So them people were hurting. So we'd go around and fix whatever they needed to be fixed on their houses. And I got to know a couple of them. And that was phenomenal. Just to get to know those people, because they'd open up to you. You'd open up to them where you were at in their faith and your faith. And I just loved that. That's where I started to go, oh, wow, this is cool. This is so much that I could put into and help out. So in the meantime, me and my wife, I'm getting heavier and heavier into the church and getting involved. And I finally got her convinced that we started doing on Sunday mornings a men's breakfast. And then I'd go and get a speaker to come in and talk for half an hour, 45 minutes.
And Sunday morning or Saturday morning?
Saturday mornings at this
Saturday
church.
morning. Okay.
So we did that for a couple years, and she would come in and help me cook. And then some of the guys would come in and help too, but she would help me get everything put together to do that. And she loved doing that kind of stuff. I could get her to do that. But other than that, nope, she didn't want nothing to do with anything else. As long as she was with me and doing that on Saturdays, that was fine. But doing anything else into the church, nope, I'm fine. Getting in and reading, no, she didn't want. She was fine with that too. It's almost like she was where she wanted to be in her life and her faith, and that's where it was going to be. It wasn't going to go any farther. And I'm like, okay. So we kept moving along, and I'm trying to keep going. So in the midst of this, I'm still driving semi. So I'm like, all right, the kids are.
Sorry about that. I got a brand new phone, and I thought I knew what I was doing with it, and apparently I don't. It was my father texting me. Thanks, Dad. He watches these, so he better be.
So I told the boss, I said, well, I'm ready to go back out over the road because the kids are out of the house. She's doing her own thing. She's working just down the road at a meat locker. So I'm like, okay, cool. So we're going along, and I thought everything was fine between the two of us. Well, my daughter calls me up and says, hey, Dad, Mom's messing around. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? No, she's not. So we kind of go from there, and my heart just kind of sank. It's like, all right, what did I do now to cause all this? So I started praying about the whole ordeal, and then come find out, a couple other people said, hey, we just seen your wife out with such. And I'm like, okay. So one time I end up calling my boss and said, hey, I need to get back home. So once I get this unloaded, I need to get back home, and don't say nothing to nobody about me coming back home early. So I ended up coming back home early and found her at some guy's apartment, which that really, I pretty much said, okay, that's it. I'm not going to do this. So I said, we need to take some time apart. I'm moving out for a little while. So I moved out in the midst, well, kind of in the middle of all this. My dad passes away from cancer. And that kind of hit me kind of hard because me and Dad were
Close.
really close. And so
you felt like your faith was shaken during this time?
Yes. That's because it's like, why is all this happening to me at this time?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get closer, trying to do what you're asking me to do. And all this stuff keeps happening to me. Why is this going on?
Hmm.
So I'm trying to work this out, try to figure it all out. And I get talking to Mom, and me and Mom get talking, and she goes, well, like I've told you before, things happen for a reason. I said, okay, Mom, I get it, but why doesn't he tell me what the reason is?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I still sitting out here in the open going, what the heck?
Yeah, you felt like you were alone and abandoned?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I just felt like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I getting punished for all this? Why are you taking my dad away from me?
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, great man. Just all around. Just great. Whatever he was always there for Mom, for us kids. Love God, everything. Just, why are you taking him away so early?
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, all right, maybe I need to look back at myself again and go, I need to grow up. I need to take responsibility for what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the meantime, in that, I got angry. I kind of took it out on my wife at that point because we weren't getting along real well, and I lashed out at her, which I shouldn't have, but that didn't help the situation. So we ended up going back to counseling again for months on end to try to get things mended up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in the meantime, like I said, that was the second time that I found out she was unfaithful to me. And to that point, I'm like, okay, God, do I stick with this out and try to stay in this? Or do I just say, that's it, I'm done. I can't do this. So I felt that tug of, you need to keep working on this. You need to stick around. You need to keep working on this. So I stuck around. 5 more years pass. I'm getting back into the church, getting involved. Got back into the youth group. Things going good. I thought things were going real good. And then I ended up changing jobs to where I was home every night, because I thought, well, if I change jobs, maybe I can be home every night, and then maybe that's what she's wanting, is me to be around more.
Mm-hmm.
So I changed jobs. So I was home every night with her to keep her company and whatnot. Then 5 years more pass by, and my daughter comes home and says, hey, Dad, I just found out, I think Mom's messing around again.
Jeez.
And I'm like, all right. So this time I confronted her about it, and she goes, well, it's nothing. It's just nothing. She said, there's nothing going on. And then that's when I prayed to God. It's like, okay, what do you want me to do with this? Because you're telling me I'm not supposed to get a divorce. I that's just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wish I could remember the verse in there, to where it says in there, the adulteress, you can divorce or let that woman go
Mm-hmm.
in that circumstance. And I finally said, okay, I get it, because I've been praying and praying and praying over all this. What do you want me to do? And finally, it's like, all right, I'm going to do this. So we ended up getting a divorce. And she moved out. So we were pretty much separated, gone, done. And then I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do now?
So your faith stayed pretty strong during this time.
This whole time, I'm staying in it because God has another plan. I know He does, and I'm not going to give up on that. So I stayed faithful to Him and was praying and reading, and I'm like, God, all I want is a good woman in my life that loves You and then will love me. That's all I want. So about 2 years of this goes by. I'm hanging out with some friends.
But you're divorced at this point.
At this point, I'm divorced. Okay. I'm done. So I'm just kind of living life by myself. I'm still staying involved in the church, doing my men's group, and because I felt the calling, I need to stay with this. And you need to stay with the men's group. You need to surround yourself with believers who can help you through all this. And that was a big plus right there. Just surrounding people that'll come in and help you and stay grounded in God's word and what He has going on in your life. And that really helped me through that whole situation. I'm like, okay. So I think that's when He decided. They used to have like car shows downtown Huntington there for a while. So we ended up, some friends of mine said, hey, can you get off work early enough? We'd like you to come down and judge our cars. Okay, yeah, I can do that. So I ended up going down there, and there's another couple that had knew me and also knew the woman that I'm married to now. Said, hey, we got somebody you need to meet. And I'm like,
I know her.
I'm like, okay, I'm leaving this up to you. All right, I'll meet her. So we got introduced and said hi to one another, and so we kind of got to know one another a little bit there at that first show. And then a week later comes by, because we were doing them like, I think it was like every other week we were doing a car show downtown, just something to do. Well, then I met her again, and we got to talking and got to know one another. She was in her church.
So she was a Christian.
She was a Christian. She was a deacon in her church. She was on the worship team in the church. So she was very involved in her church that she goes to. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is cool. All right. So.
Okay, be honest. So, when the first time you saw her, you're like, ooh. Now remember, she's going to watch this.
She was cute.
Was she cute?
Yeah, she was really cute. I wouldn't say I love you, honey, but not quite my type, because she had real short hair and whatnot. So I'm like, yeah, okay. I just want to get to know her. I want to see where this is going to go once we get to know her, and I want to make sure this is what God wants. This is where He wants me to put my faith.
This is the person He wants me to be with.
This is the person He wants me to be with. I want to make sure of this. So I'm praying about it, and then come find out she was praying about it. That,
like, hey, is this guy the guy I should be with?
Right.
Nice.
The way I understood, she had dated around and just couldn't find it, because her previous husband had passed away. So she had been on her own for, I think, 3-4 years, I think, if I remember right. So she was just kind of, her and her daughter always did things together. So she wanted to make sure, I wanted to make sure, because I didn't want to go into another
same thing, yeah.
a same thing and get hurt again. It's like I want to make sure if we get into this, that things are going to grow. We're going to get into Christ's word. We're going to help one another grow. We're going to get involved. And that's where things really started to grow for me, because then we started dating on a regular basis, and it was, she's probably going to shoot me because I can't remember. I'd say it was probably 8-9 months, and I asked her to marry me because I knew it's like, she's the one. And she said yes. So then the following year, we ended up getting married on Valentine's Day at her, where she worked. She worked at Huntington University. So the chaplain there ended up marrying us in one of the little chapels there at the church, because we didn't want nothing big. We just wanted friends and family that were close to come to our wedding. So then we were kind of going between two churches, because she was still involved in her church on the worship team and all that kind of stuff. And then I was at my church at Life Church.
So, like,
College Park. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like,
College
how long
Park.
you been a Life Church? Okay.
College Park. I was going to church there. She was going at the Nazarene in Warren. Or not Nazarene, but the First Baptist Church in Warren. That's where she was going to church at. So we were kind of going back and forth between the two, and then finally she gave up all of her responsibilities and stuff down there, and we just went to College Park. So I was still involved in everything there with the youth and stuff like that. Not as much as what I was, because with me and her getting married, and then we were kind of doing stuff at her church and then doing stuff at my church. And then some friends of ours, when all of COVID hit, how all the churches decided, well, we're going to shut this down. So we decided, some friends of ours said, hey, this Life Church in Huntington they've opened back up. So we're going to go. Sweet. Awesome. So we left College Park and we ended up going down there. And then we got to know people down there. And at College Park, I had started a motorcycle group there on getting people in the church that loved to ride and get together, and we'd go ride. And
motorcycles we're talking about.
Yeah, I know.
You should buy one.
Real ones.
I bought one because of you, and then you sold yours.
So we moved down there, got to know them, and then Claudia and I decided, hey, let's see if they would like us to start up a motorcycle group up down here. And the pastor at the time said, well, yeah, sure, we'll back you on that. So we started out, we knew a couple people that rode at the church. So we're like, okay, well, let's get together and we'll go do stuff together and go hang out. So each year keeps passing, and we just kept getting a couple more, and the group started getting bigger. And then we decided, well, let's do something else. So Claudia and I ended up getting a couples group also fired up. So we had, at the beginning, I think there was like 3 or 4 of them from the motorcycle group said, hey, we would really like to have a Bible study for couples. So we started a small little motorcycle group And then we got a couples group started up out of that. And then we've been kind of gradually adding more people into that. So that's.
Would you say that reading and praying, when you really started to grow, you think that reading your Bible and praying was kind of the thing that pushed you forward? Or was it the serving, or a mixture of both?
I would say the mixture of both.
Yeah.
The reading and praying and doing. I also do devotionals every day. And I've also got it set up on my iPhone. I have the Bible verse app on there that gives me a Bible verse every day. And it's like, when I feel the need, I'll send those out to people all over. Brad can contest because he's in the couples group and the motorcycle group.
The motorcycle group.
That I send Bible verses out every day.
Yeah.
That I feel like, hey, this is going to touch somebody. I need to send this. I need to send this one out. So yeah, getting involved and just praying and listening to what God has got in for you makes a big difference.
Yeah, listening to your story, it sounds like you had a lot of rough times. But while we were talking in the break, you made mention, and we kind of had a discussion about it, that it seemed like no matter how far you ran, he was right there. And the moment you came back, he didn't judge, like say, hey, you ran from me, and make you work for it. The moment that you wanted that relationship back, it was restored. Not that there wasn't consequences for bad decisions and mistakes, but the Lord never left you. And you through the conversation talked about how you felt like there was always this draw, right?
Yes. How he's always got you covered. He's always there. So don't think he's not there, because he is there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have that love for Christ and the fear of what could happen if you don't do what he's asking. I always had that fear of, like, am I doing the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to disappoint him.
Mm-hmm.
That's my Father. And if I can keep that door open for him to talk to me and what I need to do in my life, that I can spread that onto others and do the right things.
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking while you were talking is, imagine when you get to heaven, some of those kids that you spent time with, even during the time in your life when things were tumultuous, right?
Yes.
And you still were faithful to those ministries and that men's. When I first came to the Lord, we used to have a men's breakfast on Saturday morning, and that was huge when I was a young man. Now I obviously got mad at God and walked away from him, but there's times where I'm talking in this podcast and I'll quote stuff that I heard in those meetings, and some of the biblical foundation I have is from those Saturday morning men's prayer breakfast.
Yes.
But yeah, it's really cool to hear another story and hear, kind of, I consider us friends and I enjoy spending time with you, but I didn't know any of that. And maybe that's because I'm lazy and I didn't probe, or we're too busy riding motorcycles. But man, I'm kind of blown away, and I had no idea some of that stuff. And obviously that kind of molded you to the man you are today, and the desire that you have to share the gospel and to preach the word. And for me, I watch you, because we go to his small group and we're in the Life Riders group, but that passion, even though you probably, by all accounts, could say, I'm mad at God. He took my brother, he took my wife, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. Where were you? But you didn't do that. You went the other way and said, you were always there. I was the one that ran away. And now, because of that, I have a deep passion and a deep love, because I realize that all along the Lord was there and loved me.
Yep,
you have a
exactly.
good story.
Yeah, good story. Cool story. Cool story, bro. Sorry, we don't pay for stories. This is all pro bono ministry. But we're gonna get ready to, or we're winding this down. And we thank you so much for your time today. I know you got somewhere you got to be, and really being vulnerable. You said some things, that makes you vulnerable. But I think that's the way we grow. Hey, these are things I did, and I'm gonna own those things.
Right.
But I'm also going to not live in those things. I'm going to learn from them. Matt Carter, any last?
No, I like his story.
Yeah, I do
Got a
too.
good one.
Randy, you got anything? Too bad you don't have a mic. We're trying to figure out a way to get a mic in there so he can. He's he is a very spiritual guy and really makes me look good on camera. So again, Battleground Believers wants to thank Chuck, and we really want to thank Chuck's wife for allowing him to come today and to be here, and everything he said about you. You're a pretty lady. You're an amazing lady, and we appreciate you lending your husband to us this morning. Battleground Believers, all that call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. No matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, no matter what condition you're in, the Lord will be there. And even if you walk away from him, he will be right behind you. And the moment you turn around, he'll be there. Battleground Believers, out.